Hello, everyone. This is Fernando with Texas United Realty. Welcome to my webinar. Today, we're going to be discussing setting goals for 2022. Um, when I was doing this presentation, I was kind of like actually in shock, going, "Okay, we're already thinking about next year." And actually, the year 2022 seems pretty fascinating. That almost sounds like one of those movies that we used to watch when we were kids about the future. The agenda today is to talk about ideas for creating personal and business goals, create a plan of activities, timelines to achieve these goals, and then some tips as well. So set your business goals for starting your real estate business on track. So a lot of us, we can assess and look back at what we did this year, and some of us might be excited about what we've accomplished this year. Others, we might be going, wow, didn't do as much as I thought. But the month of December is a real good month to start uh, thinking about writing them down, the goals for 2022, and that way you can follow those goals. You need to have these goals set so next year expenses don't surprise you. A lot of us, we have these real estate fees that are due at the end of the year. There's holiday expenses, there's other expenses, and we need to set goals so like that we're not caught off guard as well. Make sure to set these goals and be very specific. They need to be measurable, attainable, relevant, and they are also need to be time bound. And also one thing that we tend to forget is these goals need to be in two different categories. One is personal goals, and then the other one is business goals. You need to focus on both of them. So personal goals. A personal goal, we'll start that first. A personal goal could be just something like, hey, I want to lose weight next year. You can say, okay, I want to lose 15 pounds by the end of 2022. And then you need to write down, how are you going to accomplish that? It could be eat more fish and chicken and less beef. It can eat fruits and vegetables, walk 30 minutes a day, uh, and, limit snacks. So that could be an attainable goal. And that's something you want to accomplish for 2022. Another goal might be make improvements to yourself and your mind. Let go of your past. Let go of negativity that surrounds you. Get rid of procrastination. Surround yourself with positive and successful people. Of course, the people that are not positive or successful, you should still be kind to them, but try to surround yourself with positive and successful people as well. One thing that I like to do is meditate, to distress the way my daily routine usually stresses me out. So one thing is meditation is real helpful. Finish that novel or book you have been trying to finish, reading for a long time. It's sitting next to your, on your nightstand, and you stare at it, but you haven't really finished it. So that's something that you can, do as far as accomplishing a goal. Another thing that's real helpful is volunteer in the community. There's a lot of things that you can be involved in. Maybe read some stories and visit, the elderly in a nursing home. Of course, with COVID, it was kind of difficult to do that, but that's just an idea. Um, Habitats for Humanity, maybe help build a house. There's just a lot of things you can volunteer. Also during the holidays, they're always asking for assistance with helping, pass out, serve food, like Thanksgiving, for example. Another thing is improve your time management skills. A lot of us, we have 2 or 3 jobs. We have our full-time work, that we work 40, 50 hours a day. And then we're trying to do a real estate work as well. And it's really tough for us to do time management. And when we have 2 jobs or 3 jobs, so try to, look at how to improve your time management skills. There might be maybe use your phone to schedule different time slots or write it down in a journal or a book, a calendar. Also, one thing we got to think about is get along with ourselves. That's what really important. You got to focus on you. We always tend to focus on others, but let's also focus on yourself. So those are just personal goals. Business goals, why do we get into real estate? What was the purpose? Usually I ask my students that are under my mentee mentor program, I ask them, you need to answer this question. Is this real estate a hobby or is it a career change? And you got to really think about that. Is it a hobby or a career change? And that's something that you really got to think about in your own mind. Why did I get myself into real estate? And one thing that I always stress, whoever wants to listen to me, is you need to set, a sales goal. And usually I have this something, this simple formula. It says, I will make 50,000 in 2022. I will sell 6 properties, average price 200,000 at 3%. That's $36,000. I will lease 14 rentals, average 1,000 in commission. 1,000 times 14 is 14,000. That equals to 50,000. So you need to think about goals. You need to, after this meeting or during the weekend or whenever you have time or when the kids are asleep or when everybody's asleep, try to write down some goals. I'm sure you guys are getting tired of always, some of us of always, feel like we don't have enough money, even though we have 2 or 3 jobs, we're still not making money, or we haven't made any money in real estate. And I spent $3,000 in all the in the schooling at Champion School of Real Estate, as an example, and all the fees. And now there's more fees coming along. I mean, it would be helpful if I had these extra 50,000, right? So how do I accomplish that? Posting on social media could be one example. You know, Craigslist postings of a sale or a lease every 2 days. You can do Facebook postings of one sale and one lease once a week. There's just things like that. Let me see. I think I have an example here. So here's someone that posted a house for rent, $2,200 a month, and I'm sure they get inquiries about it. So I started as a realtor 14 years ago, and I didn't have any access to, social media didn't even exist. The only thing we had was emails. And I wish I would have had this back in those days. But now there's just so many ways to post different marketing techniques to tell others about a potential sale that's happening, a rental that's happening. So it's really helpful to use that technology. Now there's that TikTok. My kids are telling me about it. I think there's like a 3-minute limit. Instagram, like there's one of my students who already graduated. He uses Instagram all the time. He's always recording what food he eats at restaurants, what drinks he uses, and then he'll do like a featured home where he pretends to be, driving around and go, oh, look at this pretty house. And then he's recording himself as he's walking in the house. So there's just different ways of doing that. Visit a home for sale and conduct your own virtual tour, which is what that other mentee has done in the past. And call it featured home, and you post it every Friday. Of course, if it's one of our listings, you don't need permission other than scheduling the showing appointment. But if it's Keller Williams or Remax or other brokerages, you need to ask them for written permission. If they say yeah, then there's your written permission. And then just go ahead and tell them what you're going to do. You're going to post, their house on your own social media platform. networking. The holidays are upon us. We're going to be, if we're, of course, be safe. COVID is still out there, but you're going to be meeting friends, family, Uncle Johnny that you haven't seen in a while. And, tell them about, what you're doing. Y'all going to be discussing what you're going to be doing. Hey, how you guys doing? We haven't seen each other for 2 years. And you can say something like, I started my real estate business, and I can help them. I can help you guys find a home for rent or list it for sale or for purchase, or help you with the purchase. Uh, One thing I don't like to say, and I usually tell my students this, is don't tell them you just got your real estate license. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound cool. It's better to say, I started my real estate business. And if you have a mentor, use the mentor's experience of years of experience to that sentence. So for example, with me, I have 14 years experience. My mentees can say, oh, I started my real estate business and I can help you guys find a house. I also have a partner named Fernando, or a business colleague or a business partner. I tell him, don't say the word mentor. And he's got over 14 years experience. That way you sound like you're part of a team of 14 years, with experience. So try to, do that. If you don't have that, if you're not under the mentor program, just say, hey, I started my real estate business. Ask your family to help you. They might not want to buy a house through you for some reason, maybe because they don't want you to know all their business. You might find out that they have, student loans or something, but, tell them to help you out. Let's use our family to help us. So another thing that I love to do is conduct open houses, try to schedule them every week. There's been times when I've done 12 consecutive weekends, and sometimes Saturday and Sunday. I enjoy doing open houses. I get to meet people. Now, if I ever do an open house, I'm real picky about who my clients are, because I've been in the business a long time. But it's very, very great to establish that. You're busy over the weekend and you do a weekly, open houses. Another thing is go to FSBO.com. I can show you in a minute here, and make contact with the seller to schedule an appointment to list their house once per week. So here's the website for FSBO.com. It's for sale by owner, is the acronym. FSBO stands for sale by owner. And you can just type in the criteria of what area that you live in. And what I love about this is it says here, contact owner. And there's the owner's phone number. Sometimes I get agents telling me, Fernando, how do I get phone numbers? Well, go to FSBO.com. Those guys, of course, they're trying to sell where they're avoiding the 6% commission. Of course, here, I think they have to pay $500 to list it. But, you can call them. Before you call them, I would suggest you do your homework and, do a drive-by, look at the house. Maybe you need some work. Maybe the pictures don't look that great. Like this house looks nice. But, you can do your own research, do a CMA report, comparative market analysis, and see if that price 416 is realistic. Maybe they're underpricing. Maybe they should really be selling it for $432, 432,000. And you can talk to them, say, hey, this is Fernando with Texas United Realty, and they may hang up on you, right? Click, because I'm sure other realtors call them. It's a numbers game. Real estate is always a numbers game. You might receive 99 hangups and one phone call where you actually talk to a real person, which is the owner. Just talk to them. Say, hey, I did a drive-by. I looked at your house. Your house is gorgeous. How long you had it in the market? And they may say, well, I've had it in the market for 20 days, but I don't get no serious buyers. And you can say, you know what? I'm sure you have a reason to put it on FSBO.com, but if you give me the opportunity, can we meet next week, Tuesday at 3:00, Wednesday at 10:00, or Thursday at 5:00? Which time works best for you? You see how I trying to get an appointment. That's your goal, is to try to get an appointment. That appointment, you go in there and then you do all your magic and hopefully it works. But that's the main goal, is try to get an appointment. Okay. Sign up with Redx. That's another, if you want to generate listings, that's another form of Redx. Redx is not free. They do charge, as here is like, it says $59.99. I think it's 59 a month. But these are expired listings. Expired listings means that they tried to sell it and it didn't sell. Of course, that's sounds kind of strange in a seller's market, but who knows? Their house might have been in pretty bad shape, and they were trying to overprice it. But you can do that. Try to get a list of expired listings and call them up. See if maybe they'll give you the opportunity to go to list it with you. Another thing is Opcity and HomeLight. These are lead companies. Opcity, we use them tremendously. We're very active with Opcity. A lot of our agents are using them. They are a third-party company. Realtor.com purchased them recently, a couple months ago, but we use Opcity. We have an Opcity agreement that you sign, and then that's between you and them. And then, of course, they're going to carve out some commission, like 35% or 40% from the entire commission, because they're giving you a lead, and they assess by grading you when they send you the lead to see how quickly you respond. And then after a while, what I hear is that you have to complete 3 transactions, and these transactions aren't that great. But when you complete them, they then give you the nice ones. So that's just another form. And then there's Zillow Premier Agent. I've used them in the past just to try them out. That's also a paid. They charge you per zip code. The most popular zip code is the one located in Katy, Texas. Of course, there's several zip codes, but Katy is the most popular one. And they can go all the way to $1,000, $2,000 a month. But I mean, that's real expensive. But you can choose other zip codes. In the past, I did like $200, $300 a month just to see, and I did it for about 6 months. I did get one lead out of it in a sale. So I recovered the money that I used to pay them. I had one of my agents who was paying $1,000 a month, and he was getting the $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 houses. He was getting so many leads that he would call me to tell me, "Hey, can I give them to you?" So there's a lot of that too. Additional activities: view and attend a webinar training once per week. Knowledge is power. I'm sure you've heard that phrase before. Get to know the lenders. Have maybe nowadays you can start kind of maybe meeting for coffee. Talk to lenders, talk to title company people, talk to the AC guy, talk to the, get a lot of information, attend webinars. There's just a lot of things you can do to create that, to gain that knowledge. Another thing is visit a builder. There's builders, they're always building homes in your area where you live. Contact a builder. Go meet them. Typically, I tell my agents to go Monday through Thursday around 10:30, 11 in the morning. I notice that that's the time that they're very bored. They have nothing to do. They actually get excited when I arrive around 10:30 because they think I'm a potential buyer. And just go and meet them. Don't meet them on the weekends. They're not going to give you the time of day. They're real busy. But go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Pick one builder and go on a Tuesday. Get to know them. Get to meet them. You can even ask them, "Hey, can I record you talking about the buyer's incentives and the inventory that you have, and pretend to be a reporter, for example, and use your phone to record them." And for them being on the YouTube video or Instagram, they're already giving you permission because you're recording them. You're not recording you. Of course, you can record yourself as well, talking to them. And then after a while, try to set go visit them once a week. And maybe next time bring them donuts or kolaches. Humans love to eat, and you can attract instant relationships by with through food. But just go visit them, and then eventually, like the second visit or third visit, you can say, "Hey, I would like to conduct open houses on your inventory." I mean, can you picture yourself doing an open house on those model homes? Those homes that they have already ready for move in. I mean, you'll look really sharp. So that's something you can do. Another thing is create a network group on Facebook. For example, if you are a dog lover, create a group and send invitations out for that to join your group. Then have frequent topics like, wow, hey, they're giving free vaccinations for the dogs or low cost vaccinations, and try to create a forum. You know, we tend to always wait for somebody else to do it, but I believe that we're the ones that should create that event, create that network. Don't wait for others to do it. Another thing is get involved in your subdivision where you live, by creating events. Talk to the HOA about creating an event, like, for example, free pictures with the Easter Bunny or free pictures with Santa Claus. You can rent a costume out and ask someone to dress up the part. The HOA will notify all residents, and guess what? They're going to be sending you emails directly to you with their contact information for a free picture. What do you think this is? Oh, instant list of contacts, which you can then email and say, hey, I'm here if you want to sell your house. So, I know a lot of us don't like the HOA. Like me personally, I got involved with the HOA where I know I've been here 20 years in the same subdivision, but I noticed that there was no newsletter. So I approached the HOA and during one of the meetings, and I said, "Hey, can I start a newsletter?" And they're like, "Sure." They go, "Who's going to write it?" I go, "I'm going to write it." I said, "But you guys provide me everything, the email addresses. If I need to print something out in paper, you're going to provide me paper. You're going to provide me ink or toner." Back then, and they're like, "Sure." So I received 530 addresses. Talk about my list of contacts. And then I became the information of the neighborhood where they would send me an email going, "Hey, I lost my dog. Can you put it on the newsletter? Hey, I'm doing an a garage sale," and so on and so forth. So get involved in your community, get involved where you live, and all that is free, you know. If you do create an event, and I failed to put this on my presentation, is is you can ask, and you should ask Holly Presley from Allegiance Title or Christy Rogers from CMG, and then there's others. Ask them to pay for or to sponsor that event. Like, for example, if you created and organize a block party with the neighbors, um, you know, you can say, hey, hey, Holly or Christy Rogers, I'm going to be conducting an event on Saturday, and I would like you guys to provide, snacks or something. Don't try to use your own money. I always like to say OPM, other people's money. That's my philosophy. Always OPM, other people's money. And then finally, some tips: create a vision board. I hear this a lot about a vision board, and they're very helpful on what you want to accomplish in the year, for next year. It should contain inspirational images, words that represent the things you want to acquire in the coming year. So if you want to buy, a new car, get a picture of the car that you actually want. I really strongly believe in manifestation. Manifest it. Just put it on the vision board, and don't say, "I think I'm going to get it." You said, "I will get that." Put 6 houses. you know, 6 different houses, meaning that you're going to sell 6 houses, you know. So there's a lot of things you can do on the vision board. When writing your goals, do not start with I would like to. I used to always correct my kids. Uh, Now my children are older; they're in their older 20s. They always use the word I will. They always start with I will do this. I will do that. Like my daughter, she's going to nursing school, and I had to correct her again because she goes, I hope I get 2 B's and 1 A. I said, excuse me? And then, of course, she corrected herself because she knows how dad is. She goes, I will get 2 B's and 1 A. I go, correct. And guess what? Yesterday, she told me she got 2 B's and 1 A because she says, I will get 2 B's and 1 A.
Next goal, straight A's.
Yeah. Well, it's nursing school is really tough, but yeah. But it's just, you got to really set your mind in the I will. I interact a lot with you guys. I do a lot of, I'm in contract compliance, reviewing your files. I get a lot of phone calls from a lot of agents besides my mentees. And I always hear things like, oh, I didn't make that much money this year, or I wish I could sell a house, or I wish this. There's a lot of I wishes. We need to change that mindset. And instead of say, I wish, is I will. And I want all of you guys, as soon as we get off this phone call, I want you to promise me you're going to have goals for next year. And I want those goals to be personal and business goals. And then I want all of y'all to try to call me around the month of March to tell me how it's going. And then the end of June to tell me how it's going. And then the end of October to tell me how it's going. And then in December 9th at 8:57 p.m., I want you to tell me, Fernando, those goals that I set my mind to it, I accomplished them. That's what I want all of y'all to do. I don't want to hear, I wish. We need to change our mindset. We need to make money, guys. The reason why we got into real estate is to make money. If this is a part-time, make as much money as possible. I used to be a full-time employee. I used to travel all over the world. My accounts were BP, DuPont, ExxonMobil. I was customer advocate. I still sold $50,000 to $60,000 part-time. Even though I was traveling, I used other realtors to help me. I used to show houses from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I used to show houses from 11:30 to 1 p.m. I used to show houses after 5 o'clock. We can do it. So those are my presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you for the helpful information. Mr. Loera, I wanted to know, what do I say to HOA so that they're aware I'm getting contact information, which later will help me help, other people in the subdivision, just so it's transparent?
Well, they HOAs, they know what you're trying to do, so obviously, but whenever the HOA is not sending you their email address that's communicating. Like, for example, let's just say you got your significant other or a brother or sister, or someone dressing up the Easter bunny, right? Outfit. You told the HOA, hey, I'm doing this event on this day. First, you need to ask, is it doable? In other words, is there anything else going on? And they probably say no. Then they're going to say, can you please tell all the neighbors, the people that live there, to send me an email directly to register for the free picture. So so someone is sending you to ask them to help you. It's not from the HOA, it's from the actual person. Okay.
I see. And same with the newsletter then, I guess. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, email this person.
There you go. Right. Now, nowadays, I think there's Nextdoor. I hear Nextdoor is real popular. And there's a lot of realtors that use Nextdoor. But you know, like what I used to do in the old days is in March, um, I'm sorry, in May, we have a pool in the subdivision, and I would ask the HOA, hey, can I cook hot hamburgers and hot dogs for the for the opening of the pool? Because that's when we did pool assignment. I mean, pool tags. You know, we would give them pool tags to the residents, and because it was so boring back in the old days, we would put a table out there and we would pass out pool tags and nothing was happening. That we didn't have any drinks to offer. It was so boring. And I told the directors of the HOA, I said, hey, next year, let's do something. Let's make it a big party, you know? So we started renting those bouncy, jumpy things. And, you know, we had a person that does the balloons. And then they actually built a barbecue pit for me to cook the hot hamburgers and hot dogs that's stationed there at the recreation center. And then I asked him, I said, hey, is it all right if I can put a canopy and put my for sale sign and my for lease sign and give out gift cards? I mean, give out raffle tickets with gift cards, you know, for gift cards and promote my business. And they're like, sure. So picture Fernando underneath a canopy cooking hamburgers and hot dogs with a for sale sign and a for lease sign with drawings. And people, in order to get their drawing, I mean, to be part of that, participate in the drawing, they would have to write their name, email, phone number. Guess what I was doing there? Creating a list. And the same people were writing their names on there because they wanted to win the gift card, right? The drawing. And there was another guy that worked at Keller Williams who also lived in the subdivision. And then we joined forces. So now we had more gift cards to give away. And he had his Keller Williams sign and I had my Texas United Realty sign together. You know, because we live in the subdivision and we have 567 houses. I think we can share, don't you think? So let's do something, you know, let's get involved. There's other students like this lady, she was kind of embarrassed, but I see her a lot on Facebook where she's always partying. You know, she's always going to parties. She's always going to gatherings. She's always going to happy hours. She's a young lady. And I said, hey, I said, wow, you're really having a good time. She goes, yeah, I enjoy, you know, meeting people and hanging out in happy hours and stuff. I said, well, that's great. Do you know that she started getting business that way? And on the third sale, her third sale of a house, she goes, Fernando, I think this is my niche. Because she didn't know what her niche was. I go, yeah. She goes, but it's kind of embarrassing because I'm always at happy hours. I said, but that's your personality. Follow your personality. You're not out of your own space. This is your area. She goes, so you mean I can just keep on doing this? I go, yeah, because you're going to keep on selling. You're always going to keep on generating leads. You know, there's another lady that loves to go. She would do her hairs and nails and all that stuff. She loved, you know, all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, I'm a guy. I don't know how to talk about it. And she would bring a basket. Of course, she knew the owner of the place, and she would ask her, "Hey, can I bring a basket? You know, with nuts and, you know, cookies and all that, and then have my business cards there." So they go, "Sure," because she was a frequent customer. There's just a lot of little things you can do, you know. Just try to be creative, but try to do something that fits you, fits your personality. Yeah. So I hope I answered your question.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Sorry, I talk a lot. But I get really excited about you guys. You guys have this opportunity. I hear from other agents, oh, Fernando, there's so many realtors out there. I go, yeah, but none like you. You know, whenever I do an open house, and that person that walks in that open house, even if they have another realtor, I always strongly believe that they're going to fire their realtor that they have and come to me. That's my manifestation. I always tell people, whenever they come in to my open house, they're going to like me, and they're going to want to talk to me, and they're going to want to buy from me. That's the way I think when I do an open house. Never say, I hope they like me. They will like me, and they will fire their other realtor to pick me. And it happens to me all the time. You know, they come in, oh, well, yeah, I have a realtor. I go, oh, really? Well, ask the realtor to call me, to see if they're lying or not, of course. It's kind of like my daughter used to say, oh, I have a boyfriend. She doesn't have a boyfriend, but she goes, I have a boyfriend. Well, buyers do the same thing. I have a realtor. And me, please don't do this, but this is what I do. I go, oh, where is he at, or her? Are they coming? I don't see them. And then they kind of look at me. And then eventually I talk to them. And then Tuesday or Wednesday, when I follow up with them, because I usually follow up with everybody that comes to the open house, they'll go, oh, you know what, Fernando? I think my wife, she said that she wants to see if she can use you as as our realtor. I go, sure, no problem. So you try to be different from others. The way I am is I'm a problem solver. I tell others to call me for whatever question they have. If they want to know a good restaurant, if they want to know a good mechanic, they don't have to call me for a house related. I say, you just call me. Call Fernando first. That's what I tell them. And people do. They call me first. And then they may say, oh, you know what, Fernando? I told my friends about you. I love to hear that. Any other questions? I know I'm talking too much.
Fernando, I have a question. This is Yuri.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned there's what they call the IDX listings, and my understanding is that the brokers get together and sign documents that permits other brokerages to market listings that are part of the other brokerages. Do we have that option? Because I noticed you said you need to write and ask for permission.
Yeah, but it's an email or a text. That's the permission.
But my question is, what is the need for that when they brokers sign the documents permitting that?
Yeah, but you have to be within the same brokerage.
No,
I'm talking about other brokerages. Keller Williams is not going to allow you to post their listing automatically on your social media.
If they sign the IDX agreement between
but how do you know that? You're gonna have to ask them that. I've never heard of any broker like I've never heard. I always hear that you have to have written permission, because remember, there's a listing agreement signed between the seller and the broker.
I think that IDX agreement needs to be investigated, because my understanding with another broker, he said, we sign these documents that permit it. So he was gung-ho, and he's a very successful broker.
Yeah. I mean, it could be true. My main thing is I rather ask the listing agent, so like that they can get permission from the seller. And once I get the email or text that, yeah, it looks good. Because I usually say, hey, I live next door to your listing. I live in the subdivision, the same subdivision. I would like to post your house on my social media platforms. You know, so a couple pictures, and you know, is that okay? And then they respond back saying, yep, sounds good. And then, so I feel comfortable with that written permission. But yeah, I'll investigate about the IDX that you're talking about. Good question. Any other questions, guys? Okay. One thing I wanted to, it was brought to my attention just about an hour ago that there's a new flood disclosure for leases, and this is for the landlord side. It's an addendum regarding rental flood disclosure, and this is going to be a mandatory form effective January 1st, 2022. So we have to use this form on January 1st, 2022. And it's a disclosure that the landlord fills out. You do not fill it out. The landlord fills out, kind of acts like a seller's disclosure, where the sellers are filling it out. And they have to say if it's in a 100-year plane or not, and if there was any damage. Okay. And it's signed by the landlord and the tenant. And you know me, I work in contract compliance. And if this form is not in there after January 1st, 2022, then I'm going to tell you we need it. Okay.
Fernando, one question again regarding the lease. What if you're dealing with a management company and they have their own documents?
Yeah, but this is the landlord.
Okay, gotcha. Not the management company.
It doesn't say management company.
Okay.
The addendum, and I'm sure the property management company is very aware of this form already. But that's a good question. So yeah, just keep that in mind that's and then some places you can go is the, you know, FEMA.gov can tell you about the 100-year floodplains. So, and I don't know if you guys know about this other one, Flood Factor. I use this as well, or I tell my buyers to use it. It's a pretty cool tool. It extracts information from FEMA.gov to generate their reports. But this is a real good place to go to find out if that house is ever flooded. You just put in the address of the property, and then it tells you what's the percentage that it will flood. Like mine's, this is my own house, this is 1%. And then it gives you other statistics. So Flood Factor is a pretty cool tool too in the website. Okay. So any questions on my presentation before we wrap it up? I know everybody's I'm sure tired and ready to end the evening. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for your time. I really appreciate it. And good night.
Sleep with angels, everybody.
Thank you, Karen.
Night, Fernando.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fernando.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Fernando. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Great information. Thanks so much.